Well, hello everybody. It's Shawn Andrich from Gamers with Jobs here, and I am joined by the co-founder of Gamers with Jobs, fellow co-founder Mr. Shawn Sands.
Hello.
And we're here to talk about Metro Exodus and some of our thoughts and feelings about it. And we're going to do it in as spoiler-free a way as we can, which means we're starting a little ways into the game in the second open world area called the Caspian region, and just a little bit after the opening dialogue and cutscenes that establish why we're here. But the short version is we're in the Caspian region. Our train that we use to get here is low on fuel, and we need water and we need fuel. And there's humanimals lurking around on the peripheries that I need to watch out for.
That is canon, according to at least some of the notes I read in the game.
So now you talk for a bit so I don't look bad.
Yeah, you pay attention to the game. So Metro Exodus takes place after the previous two games. As you can tell immediately, if you haven't been following it closely, it takes you out into the open world, into several different regions where you have a lot of freedom and a lot of ability to just explore and find things, which I'm absolutely loving. Like I'm really enjoying my time with the game so far. And one of the things that I really like about it is that it packs in a lot of. It still has that Metro aesthetic and feel. It still is very tense at times, but it also, I think, it deploys this scavenge and creep around and discover the world you're in mentality in a great way. Like the world itself, as we're walking through here, will begin to tell the story of the Caspian, what happened in the Caspian region following the war. And I love that sort of a strong blend of just environmental, but also just sort of structural storytelling, along with a lot of dialogue from time to time.
Ooh, I ran into a sound thing. Clip that.
You let people know that you're here.
Yeah.
And that's a real thing. Like they will come and explore in mass if you start making a lot of noise. Mm-hmm. I find so. One of the things you're seeing is Sean's picking up a lot of different things like. Really only two primary sources of upgrade materials, right? There's sort of metal and science-y stuff. And you use that to, in a basic inventory. You want to pull open your backpack real quick?
I can do it real quick. I mean, this storm's blown in, but...
Yeah, it'll be fine. The storm's pretty cool, though. So yeah, you want to talk about it for a minute?
So you've got a mobile backpack here, which is a mobile crafting station. So there are workbenches you can do more at, but with this one, what you can do is these are bullets for my pneumatic gun, which is basically you can turn your crafting garbage into bullets. So I can actually just make more bullets for that, spending some of my things. I can make more health. I can make more filters if I need it. I can create more throwing knives, or I don't think you can make cans for making noise, but you can actually dismantle them in order to get a few more crafting materials. Yeah. Whoops, don't want to dismantle my my knives necessarily. So you can actually do that, and then you can also change your weapons out. So if you've got I've got this new gun here that I just picked up, that's a new type of gun that I haven't had before, so I don't have a lot of attachments for it, but I can dictate what sort of gun it is right off the bat. It's going to be a short barrel, which makes it light, and you can see the stats change as I pick different things. Standard barrel, a little less stable, but a little more accuracy, which is interesting. Heavy barrel does more damage, and then you've got your long barrel, which provides better rifling and damage, which I'm actually going to take.
And I feel like these upgrades and these changes make a meaningful difference. I feel as my gun changes, I think one of the things I use is actually the revolver, and I use that as a silenced weapon, a nearby kill. It doesn't do nearly as much damage. Toss a scope on it, do all those things, and it becomes a fundamentally different weapon. And you can find these upgrades as you're going around and breaking down enemies' guns or find crafting areas. I love this storm as it comes in, by the way.
Yeah, storm's great.
Yeah. That's, I mean...
Ah!
Yeah, those guys do that.
All right, well, we're going to run a little bit, because I see a building up ahead. There's a vehicle here. There's a body on fire, so that's probably a human. course, I've got that hot new gun and like no legitimate ammo for it.
No, that's story of a new gun in Exodus. Sweet, I can't really use this yet, but I'm looking forward to being able to.
And the real problem with these guys here, like, I mean, there's a lot of problems, but one of them is that they've learned to throw things, which sucks. It's not fair.
Yes.
The other problem is that they're bullet sponges, and you don't get anything out of them. You don't get any crafting materials out of them. You're not going to get more bullets. You're not going to get more supplies.
Which is not the case when you're fighting, like,
Stormblowing
straight up.
I'm putting my mask on. I don't know if that matters.
Good call.
I'm going to heal myself. Ow, because he's throwing cement blocks at me. So my pneumatic tube...
Headshots are important.
My pneumatic tube pressure is low, so I got to pump it back up so it'll have more velocity again. Which is great when you've got a horde coming toward you. You know, that's always fun. So we're in kind of I guess you'd call it, we're in kind of a scripted moment here. So it's a really interesting hybrid. It is an open world game, quote unquote, but not. Like, it's definitely, because Metro took place mostly in tunnels. That was a very directed linear experience. They have opened it up here, kind of, you could call it bowing to the pressures of the market, but they managed to somehow still make it their own. Like, they still keep it pretty directed, and if you want to... oh, no, that's the wrong button. There's my button. If you want to, like...
Yeah, that's the stuff.
If you want to play it in a linear way, you can do that. I'm just going to chat casually while I burn these sentient beings alive.
Yeah, no, it is interesting because the game gives you a large area. I mean, look at,
that's embarrassing.
You'll get him. There you go. You got him. Once we're through this area, we can pull up the map, and you'll see that it's a really, there's a ton of stuff to explore, and as you know, particularly as you're kind of moving from place to place, if you get in a nice high area, you can pull out your binoculars and sort of identify new buildings and new locations and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Which you can't see really well right now. I'll let you
this game, they really love seizing control of the camera and surprising you once in a while.
Yeah, they're kind of fine with that.
Yeah. Kill or don't kill is my option, and as usual, this is actually like the most meaningful quote-unquote quest option or dialogue option you have, because Artyom doesn't really talk. It's, do I kill somebody or not? So choosing not to kill.
Yeah.
So I can pick up this gun.
It's a new gun.
Yeah. Well.
So as you hover over somebody's gun, the little orange parts will tell you what parts are new. So if you find a gun and it has a scope you don't have yet, you'll be able to disassemble that scope from that gun, which is super cool. I really like that.
So I'm just gonna. If you can try and shoot and there's no, oh god, you got to do each bullet individually. It's a nightmare.
Yeah, that one wants to be a sniper rifle someday.
Yeah, it really, it
has aspirations.
Yeah, it's got sniper aspirations. So,
I think you can take your mask off now. I think.
Yeah, I think you're right.
The storm's over. You want to save those.
Don't use your mask up. That's for sure. So since now I've got one down to one bullet anyway. I'm going to pick up this new thing.
Now before you jump down, shoot that dude. There's a guy climbing up.
Oh. Oh.
Yep.
Time out. I'm reloading.
See, I should have shouted behind you at the last second.
Yeah, that's more of a standard response.
That's how we operate.
Okay.
Go over. I think you're in the clear now. Go over towards the end there and just sort of look out over the map, because this is when.
You said I was clear. There are more humanimals coming up here at every moment.
Yeah, there is another one coming.
This is no time to be lollygagging or sightseeing.
Sightseeing? No, we're going to do some sightseeing, because I do want to talk about like the size of the map.
I hate all these bullets I'm spending right now.
Good Lord, there are a lot of them.
Yeah, well, they're just complete resource sponges. Like, they're just taking all my bullets. That's the only thing about it. It's like,
you might run for it.
This is actually like playing Resident Evil 2 in a little way, in the sense of like it's better to run or be stealthy, because you do feel the limited resources. It's not just
I like that. Yeah.
It's not just we've got a crafting layer. It's like, no, legitimately, there are limited. Oh, there are limited resources that you've got to watch out for. So this is a vehicle. This is a new thing they're introducing. I'm just going to get in. No big deal. Nothing going on. It's fine. Oh, here we go again. The traction button. Man, this guy's needs a dentist so bad.
So yeah, one of the things we were talking about earlier is like there are definite milestones that you hit as you're playing where these scripted events will happen. Often they're kind of you'll be given quests by your home base as you're going through. You can break off at any point, but once you sort of enter the range of some of those things, the game will just take over. It'll keep telling its story. So it is still a linear narrative in its own way, just with a lot of very cool flexibility. I kind of I can imagine a situation where I would not have been happy with that, like where you could go too far to one side where it never feels like I know where to go, or the other side where it just feels like a false open world. But it walks a really good line, I think.
It does. It does.
Yeah.
Like, I actually think you spent more time in the first open area in Volga than I did. Because you're like, I saw there's this gas station with all these people. I was like, I just kind of followed the story and just headed out, and I felt satisfied with that. But yeah, so like
and I've done the same in this area as well. So so
that was one of my buds.
Map.
That was one of our buds there.
Demir, he knows what's up.
Here's the map.
Right. So one of the cool things I didn't notice at first, and if we get a chance to kind of go higher, is the Caspian area. Is right up against the Caspian Sea, but actually about half of this map takes place on the former seabed of the Caspian Sea. The sea has clearly diminished significantly. So as we kind of drive around here, you're going to start to go pretty dramatically downhill. This is sort of what I was getting at. The environment itself begins to tell this really interesting story.
Yeah. So so you've been here more than I have. I'm only early into it. So was there a particular place you think we should be going?
Go down this road. I think that's going to take us to we have to listen to the Baron. The Baron, the sort of warlord.
I haven't tried to run anybody over.
Yeah, do it. It works. Good news.
Yay.
I love doing this now. Yeah, it took me a little while to know. I'll let the Baron talk.
Have some respect.
Sorry.
Find out who they are and what they want. I'll call the people that I need separately. The rest of you are to ready your cars, guns, and combat.
Okay, stop for a second.
It might all be needed soon.
All right.
Combat trained
Baron is
slaves.
spoken.
So is this guy a bad guy? Combat.
Well, I mean, you're going to have to decide that, but he doesn't sound like a great guy.
Sounds like a bad guy to me.
Yeah. So one of the things, like, as I was driving around, it took me, like, overly long to go, like, why are all these boats here? Until I realized, like, this was where the captain
really? It took you a while to suss that out.
Yeah, I wasn't super smart about it.
I guess they just drop boats from planes. That's a weird move.
Yeah, and this is how you kind of find different things. So that used to be an island over there, right? Lighthouse, you get it.
Yeah.
And you'll actually come across that explosion over there are these sort of open oil pits that used to be the oil operation that happened on the Caspian Sea. I actually went into Google Maps last night and just tried to kind of figure out roughly where this is. Mm-hmm. And this is what that landscape, if you go into satellite mode, this is what that landscape looks like. The next interesting place actually is that area down there that you were just looking at.
Cool.
And we can do that. There's actually, look straight ahead. Nope. That house that's up there at the top of that hill is a safe house.
Oh, okay. Yeah, so safe houses, there's usually a few scattered around the map. Crafting bench, place to sleep, so you could have time pass to day or night. Because the game changes in day and night cycles. At night, it's different. The world tends to have more monsters and fewer people, and weird electrical things.
I've grown to like night though. Like I like the okay, be careful through here. Yeah, you're gonna want to approach this place stealthily to some degree.
Oh, am I being stealthy right now?
Not really. Like you don't have to be, but this is an interesting place to go in and explore.
Okay.
This is sort of the next
sure
map story beat.
Yeah. So, and you can holster weapons, and that's another way you're communicating with the world and your intentions. And then NPCs will often note that, which is neat. I do want to point out actually. The game runs really well. It actually runs pretty smoothly. We are finding in recording this, because I'm streaming this as well to Sean's desktop so he can watch me play and talk, the capture may be a little bit choppier than the actual performances. So just keep that in mind.
Yeah, that's 100% true. I've really not experienced any kind of... it's got some loading kind of it's a little finicky when it's loading sometimes, but I haven't had any hard crashes or anything like that. So yeah, what we found here is that there's sort of a slave operation going on. The Baron is the local warlord, and that's kind of setting up what this level is about, right? We're going to have to figure out now how to get the resources and stuff like that we need to refuel and get our train back up and running.
You come check on us, yes? From Baron come from tower, yes?
Sure.
Forgive me, sir. I stupid slave. No, nothing at all, nothing.
Don't talk about yourself that way, Mirza.
Master up there, yes.
No, we're Mirza.
Yes.
Oh, are we? Oh, because we have the car.
Yeah. It's not a name. I think it probably means something like stranger or
okay.
person. Yeah. So who is this Mirza? Is kind of what they're saying.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
Meaning you.
Oh, that's fun. So a sort of theme so far has been one of like, what do people turn to for worship post-apocalypse?
Yes.
And I'm not sure how I define myself exactly, but as a somewhat spiritually inclined person, I think it's mildly like in the first open area, it's like, oh yeah, no, they're kind of like, they worship a fish. They call it the Tsar, and this guy was just like worshiping a flame. And it's just sort of like, all right, like I don't know if we're gonna like jump that far back.
I don't know. You saw that fish though. That was a serious fish.
I mean, I'm just gonna put that flame out. How do you like them apples? How do you like them apples? Yeah.
So we're taunting the slave? Is that what we're doing now?
Holy flame can't punish me if I just douse it, which you can do. You can just go up to flames and turn them off. So I don't know.
Which I love to do. So one of the things I was saying is I've really grown to like the nighttime. Yeah. Because there's this game, right? It wants you to conserve ammo and it wants you to be stealthy, and it makes both those things challenging.
Yeah.
I'll let you kind of figure out how you're going to deal with this area.
Oh, okay.
I only left for a minute. What's the matter?
Nope, we don't do that with people. This is why we need unions.
Hey, she got to him in time.
Sure did. Being stealthy.
Are you though?
Well, I am till I ain't, you know? I mean,
yeah.
They are slavers, so...
Yeah. I didn't feel too bad about it either.
Okay, so we gotta talk about the save system real quick.
Yeah.
So you see it says last checkpoint 1 minute ago. I was about to quick save because I'm like, oh, I might die here, but I can't because I'm in combat, which is fine. We have a minute-old checkpoint. Problem being that you only have one quick save slot and one checkpoint slot that's automatic. So really, you only have one save point that you can do, which means if you hit a weird bug or something, there's a possibility that between your checkpoint and your one quick save, you are hosed. Like, you could just end up in a situation you can't get out of if there's a bug. Like, generally it works fine.
Right.
You know, lots of console games are, rely very heavily on checkpoint saving. But when playing this on a PC... But you
can die pretty easily in this game.
Yeah, and playing this on a PC, like, when I'm playing on normal, they do make combat pretty lethal and difficult. Because, like, your gun's, like... Notice how I was just, like, pulling the trigger and I needed to reload? It's not... It's not going to automatically reload. your gun. You have to stop pulling the trigger and actually reload it, which is very true to the Metro series and kind of a nod to the Stalker series as well. It's trying to be a little bit more realistic, make you think a little bit more about combat and your weapons. Like if you go into the water, if you kick up a lot of sand, they'll warn you like, hey, your gun's getting dirty, so its performance is going to be less. It's going to jam up more. You know, you've got things like enemies. Like if you kill, like going stealthy is great, but if you kill a few, sometimes the rest will just surrender. You know, so that's a consideration too. So I'm just going to play this slightly differently.
Okay.
I mean, I'm going to still punch these guys because that's free. That's just for me. But I see there's a ladder, so let's go up here instead.
Yeah, and it like the game gives you multiple ways to change your approach up too.
I mean, it's very open world-ish. I mean, I think it's fair to say there's a little bit of a Dishonored kind of vibe.
Yeah,
a little bit. I bet this other guy's going to be behind him too.
Had him. All right, that works out.
I mean, I do have a silencer here. See, but like those body shots, you're just like, my.
Yeah, you're gonna want to hit. You're gonna want to hit the head.
Yeah, those bullets you spend. Because like I've been in points in moments where I'm out of crafting material. See, just gotta kill a few, and this guy's like, you know what?
He picked up. He got it. He got the
like,
story.
I feel like in a past life I've killed you, but now here we are again. So I could just, you know, strip his weapon for parts. And, you know, I'm still Slaver. I'm going to punch you. It's all right. It's just going to happen. So I can get the rest of the stuff in your backpack.
But yeah, I love that you get bullets as well as some of those crafting materials off these guys. And, right, like, I mean, we didn't get that off of the humanimals. Oof, just rolls off the tongue.
Oh, I love that word.
But yeah, so lots of like letters, lots of Bioshockian, you know, ways of like letters and notes and some recordings to give you some idea. So like here, the orange bits are parts that I don't necessarily have, so I'm just going to strip those off of the weapon, which is great. And that's the thing, like I love that you're stripping parts off, you're taking out of weapons, like you're just really field stripping as much as you can as you go, because you're not going to run into like a lot of like, here's a bullet cache with lots of bullets in it, like you've got to get those off of people. No, that doesn't show up.
Yeah.
All right, so
we're going to need to wrap this one up. I would say like a couple other quick feelings and thoughts. There's definitely like, I think there'd be a temptation to compare this to Fallout 4 or something, which I think it's post-apocalyptic, obviously, so that is there. I would say they're veering in a more realistic direction to an extent, because like the Fallout 4 can still be kind of cartoonish in its post-apocalyptic irradiated landscape. This feels a lot more, for lack of a better term, realistic. Like, you know, like it's very, not to say the game doesn't have its moments of beauty and stuff, but it's very much like, what would this actually look like if this had actually happened?
Yeah. I've definitely been enjoying it. Probably put about 8 to 15 hours into the game, something like that. And I'm looking forward to wrapping it up in the next day or so, right before it, as it's coming out. As you're listening to it, if this day you're listening to it, it's coming out Friday. So the 15th of February. And if you're listening to this in the future, it's out there.
Yeah, you could probably play it. I would. I can't speak to the console versions. We haven't had a chance to try those. As a PC port, it's fine, but it's got some, like, there's no FOV slider. It's lacking some niceties that we kind of expect on a PC. So if you've got like a PS4 Pro or an Xbox One X or whatever, you may want to consider the console version. If you hear good things about them, that might be the way to play this. But it's lovely with mouse and keyboard, and for the most part, it runs really nicely on a PC. So I've been happy with that, and I'm really enjoying it too. I like that it's open world, but I like that it doesn't feel like all the other open world games. Like, there are so many open world things coming out this week.
There's not a ton of collectibles. You're not supposed to go up to the highest point and get an achievement. It's not that kind of, I mean, probably can, but I mean, it's just not trying to be that kind of game.
Yeah. So, so this is a little taste of Metro Exodus. We might have more video content for you on this one, or you can hear more on the GameStubs conference call podcast, which should be out by the time you're seeing this as well. So, I'm Shawn Andrich, and on behalf of Shawn Sands here, thanks for watching, and we'll catch you next time.